A man who maintained his innocence through almost 17 years in prison has finally been released, thanks to his own detective work, helping track down his own look-alike.
Richard Jones's nightmare over after tracking down another prisoner, his doppelganger, and the discovery casting doubt on his guilty verdict.
I guess you can say that you'll never commit a crime, but can you really say that you'll never be convicted of a crime? Well, the justice system isn't a flawless system. There are a ton of discrepancies and a ton of moving parts. So this video is all about innocent people serving time, all because they look a certain way. Let's just say that they were sort of born for prison. How's it going, YouTube? I'm your host for this one, Landon Do Not Sing, and welcome back to another Most Amazing Top 10 video. If you guys have not already joined our channel, make sure you guys become a part of the Most Amazing team by hitting the join button, and that way you guys can come stream with us, you guys get shout outs, you guys can come play Fortnite with us, play video games with us, and you get to just really hang out with the Most Amazing team. So make sure you guys hit the join button. Okay, so let's get right into this video. This is the top 10 innocent lookalikes who served prison sentences. Starting us off in number 10, we have Karl Smith. Karl Smith has been serving prison time for a murder that he actually didn't commit. The murder took place back in 2003, and he's been in prison ever since then, which is about 15 years now. The prison sentence was for 54 years. That's enough time for a person to go insane. Imagine if you went to prison for a crime that you did not commit. Well, this case had a twist ending to it.
In a shocking turn of events, an Illinois man recently testified that he committed the 2003 murder for which his twin brother is currently serving a 54-year prison sentence.
I couldn't believe what I heard in this case. So Karl Smith wasn't the gunman, it was actually his identical twin brother Kevin Duggars. Is this real life right now? This really upsets me, because why did Kevin let his twin brother take the fall for this? Well, the only reason why Kevin finally came out with the truth was because he was being charged for another crime he committed, and this time he was caught. His twin brother wasn't going to serve time for him on this one. He was charged back in 2008 when he broke into someone's home, and it led to a 6-year-old boy being shot in the head. So Kevin was sentenced to 99 years in prison, so he didn't have anything else to lose, so he decided to admit to that murder. But you know what, it's still not clear if Kevin is telling the truth, and if he actually did commit the other crime, or if he's just trying to get his brother, his twin brother, out of prison. Because what's the point of having both of them in there? Number 9, we actually have two prison inmates who look exactly alike, and this might actually be the reason why we now have fingerprint identities today. So let me take you guys way back to 1903, where this man Will West was arrested and he was put into prison. Well, during this time, the record at the prison said that he was already processed and he was already in prison. So what is going on? In fact, he was processed a few years ago. This caused a ton of confusion. Imagine bringing a convict into the prison and he was already in prison? It took some time, but after investigating this case, they realized that this prison had two inmates who looked identical. They weren't twin brothers, they weren't brothers, they weren't related, and it doesn't stop there. Both of these strangers both share the same names as well. One is Will West, and the other one is William West, but goes by Will for short, which you can easily confuse both of them. Well, just take a look at their mugshot photos side by side. They were taken about 2 years apart. I mean, it looks like the same person. This is when the prison decided to fingerprint them because they know they have different fingerprints, and there would never be any confusion. There isn't much of a record about these two, so just imagine in this situation that one crime was committed, but now both of these guys are in prison. And I was reading in the news article about this case, and a lot of people think that there's a chance that these men were just separated at birth. Number 8.
John Bunn has been waiting for this moment since 1991.
That was John Bunn. He was arrested back when he was just 14 years old for murdering an off-duty police officer. For the past 27 years, John has been fighting for his life and fighting for his innocence. The murder took place back in 1991, and John fit a description of the killer. There was an anonymous tip that led to John's arrest, and then he was lined up with other men so the key witness can identify him. The witness pointed right to John Bunn, but we all know now that after 27 years, John's double is out there and he's gotten away with a horrible crime.
I want y'all to know that y'all convicted and had a wrong man in prison.
Moving into number 7.
Finally free. After 17 years behind bars, a man who says he was wrongfully convicted, returning to loving arms.
So that was Richard Jones, who was charged with aggravated robbery in Kansas City, Kansas. He was arrested almost 20 years ago, but he said that he never committed the crime. Well, here's a picture of Richard Jones, and here is the actual person that committed this horrible crime. These two men look identical. This sucks. It sucks looking the exact same as a criminal. This whole case was relied on a witness testimony. About 72% of wrongly convicted people come from mistakes from eyewitnesses. So why are we still doing it? Number 6, let's talk about Peter Hamkin, who was put in jail on suspicion of murder. Peter Hamkin's DNA actually matched the database to a crime, but Peter still stated that he was the wrong person. Well, how can his DNA be at the crime scene? Well, what gets even more confusing is the fact that this crime took place in Italy, but Peter has never been there before. He lives in Liverpool, and in fact he claims that he was in Liverpool during the time of the murder, and it was confirmed. So what is going on? Well, after some time passed, the FBI realized that he couldn't have been the right person in their custody because, like I said, they confirmed that he hasn't even been to Italy. He was telling the truth. Well, apparently the FBI claims there's actually a 1 in 113 billion chance of a false match or two people having very, very similar DNA and identity, that the system reads them as one person. So this guy just beat the odds of 1 in 113 billion to be matched with a murderer. This is an odd I'm sure no one wants to beat. Moving into number 5, we have another very similar case. An Alaskan man was accused of rape, and based on DNA evidence extracted from the scene of the crime, the investigators had the right person without a doubt. Well, they were so wrong. It wasn't without a doubt. Things took a strange turn. They thought this case was a slam dunk, and the investigators and everyone involved was thrilled that the case was closed. Well, there was one thing that forced this case to be reopened. When this man was being processed, he was already processed into the prison. So is he a twin? Was he another person that beat out the odds of 1 in 113 billion? Well, in this case, it was none of that. This man actually received a bone marrow transplant from his brother, and it was his brother that committed the crime. How crazy is that? Not only do these brothers look alike, but they actually share some of the same DNA. It doesn't get closer than that. Alright, number 4, this right here is Frederick Young. He was driving around one night when he was pulled over by a police officer. The officer checked out his identity and realized that his license was revoked. So the police officer asked to search his car, and they found a bag of guns. Frederick was quickly arrested. During the investigation, police found out that one of those guns was used the night before during a robbery. Another man named Ross was involved in the robbery, and he took the plea deal that got him a 25-year prison sentence, but for Frederick, he insisted he was innocent and he refused to take the plea bargain. Well, the jury convicted him of 6 armed robbery counts and sentenced him to 68 years in prison. This is an insane punishment. Well, Frederick believes his twin brother was the one that committed the crime. His twin brother is Cedric Young, and he is saying he never committed the crime. Cedric's friend and his own mother believes he did it, so now Frederick Young sits in prison because authorities believe that they have the right man. I wonder if Cedric would ever come out with the truth to one day free his innocent twin brother. Things take an unusual turn in at number 3. Okay, so this right here is 27-year-old Alexander Jeferson Delgado Herrera, who was locked up for 16 years at the Pedros Gordas prison, and it's located in northern Peru's Lima province, and he was in prison for robbery and sexual assault. Well, just 2 years into his sentence, he managed to escape with the help of his twin brother, whether he wanted to help him or not. You guys won't believe this. His twin brother came one day for a visit. Well, Alexander decided to drug up his brother and steal his clothes and take the place of his brother. Well, it worked. He was able to walk out right out the front door as his brother. So now you have the wrong brother serving prison time. I mean, is this real life right now? Alexander was actually able to leave the prison passing through 6 internal doors that was manned by prison guards. He probably just smiled and waved at them. After his twin brother wasn't drugged up anymore, he told the prison guards what happened, and by that time it was too late. Alexander had successfully escaped. And you know what? I'm gonna leave the ending of that story as a cliffhanger for you you guys. I'm not going to tell you guys what happened, if they actually caught the right twin brother, or if they didn't believe this twin brother in prison and just left him there. And with that, let's move on to number 2. We have a crime that took place back in 1895 in England. This is Adolph Beck, who was sent to prison for stealing jewelry. He said he never committed the crime. Adolph ended up doing the whole time he was given. Well, years later, he was caught again committing the same crime, and he was locked up for 5 years. Again, he served that time. It wasn't until much later that it was revealed that this guy right here was actually the criminal, and while Adolph was doing this time, this other man was doing the crime. So the whole time they had the wrong guy locked up. It was his lookalike. Finally, number 1, we have a really bizarre case, and this one might not be solved. Back in 2008, Donald Smith was arrested for carjacking and murdering a preschool teacher in Gwinnett County, Georgia. Police went through all the right protocols. They were able to find witnesses that matched this man's description. They found surveillance camera footage, and they were able to match Donald Smith, like pretty confidently. They had him on camera. They had his DNA at the scene. There was just one fact missing. The police didn't realize that Donald had a twin brother. Donald actually started to blame this crime on his brother, and investigators followed up on this lead, and they found something that solved this case without a doubt. They found a fingerprint. They found a fingerprint at the scene that actually didn't match Donald Smith. The police found Ronald Smith, and he actually eventually admitted to the crime. It was him. They matched his fingerprint. But just imagine if investigators were not able to find any fingerprints. This would have been another situation where the wrong person went to prison for a crime that they did not commit. Well, there you guys have it. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys all in the next one.